First Avenue, a street that traverses the heart of what is known as downtown Mission, has a long and storied history. Following its construction by a wealthy Vancouver entrepreneur named James Welton Horne in approximately 1890, the street has evolved into an iconic place, serving as a symbol of shared experiences, of common memory, and of the challenges and opportunities of building the community. This presentation features photographs and information housed in the archives dating from the 1900s to the 2000s, used to recount some of the fascinating stories about Mission's Main Street that lies within the traditional, ancestral, unceded, and shared territories of the Lekamel, Matsqui, Kwantlen, and Scowlitz peoples. The Mission Community Archives welcomes you to sit back and discover how Main Street has both changed and stayed the same over the past 2 centuries. Following the relocation of the town center from the flats to higher land after the devastating flood of 1894, Main Street became the nucleus around which Mission grew. Originally known as Washington Street, in 1906 it was a single, muddy dirt track requiring the aid of gumboots to navigate. This photograph was taken at the corner of Grand, looking east. By 1910, Washington Street had developed into a main thoroughfare edged by many wooden buildings and now had a planked sidewalk above the muddy ground. In the years that followed, Washington Street began to house a variety of businesses, including the Mission Telephone Exchange, shown here in 1923. It was located in the John A. Catherwood Real Estate Office, and the company logo was, "Save time, use our telephone." Saturday, October 5th, 1912 was a very exciting day on Washington Street. Mission's first moving picture theater, shown here, was opened at 3 p.m. by Fred Bannister. He was a pioneer, theater owner and operator, and a talented musician who played a major role in the development of Mission's early arts and culture community. Named the Victor, the theater was equipped with a single projector, the latest model Powers 6A cameragraph, which had to be hand cranked. The black and white films shown were silent, so initially music was supplied by a piano and later a large cathedral model organ played by Mr. Bannister. Admission for adults was 15 cents and children 10 cents. Theater patrons could view the newest motion pictures that early advertisements for it boasted. 4,000 feet of the finest picture film ever brought before the public is run nightly and shown with a clean, pure, and steady light. In addition, Mr. Bannister ran newsreels and documentaries on Saturdays and Sundays, and hosted vaudeville acts, community plays, concerts, lectures, and meetings. No shows were permitted on Sundays. By 1920, the automobile was claimed to be essential. That year, the provincial government passed legislation requiring a driver's license to operate a vehicle and a highway act designating 2 highway districts regulating which side of the road vehicles drive. In 1923, a 12-foot pole with a concrete base and an electric light, shown here, was installed at the corner of Grand Avenue and on Washington Street to help direct traffic in accordance with the new law. Dubbed the Silent Policeman, the installation was the result of the successful lobbying by the BC Auto Club, who covered half the cost, and the poles being donated by a Mr. Thompson of the Silverdale Lumber Company. Coinciding with the installation of Mission's first traffic control device was the adoption of traffic regulation bylaw, which introduced angle parking on Washington Street. In keeping with efforts to improve Washington Street, on March 20th, 1928, representatives of the provincial government met with the Village of Mission commissioners to finalize details for paving the road. Here you can see a section of Washington Street on the north side near the intersection of today's First Avenue and Welton Street being prepared for paving in 1929. The contractors, employing 70 men, completed the paving on August 16th and the side mulching on the 31st. 1,800 lineal feet of Portland cement, which was the equivalent to 7,830 bags, along with 1,425 yards of sand, went into paving. The paved area was 24 feet wide, and on either side of it was an 11-foot asphalt mulch surface, thus paving the whole street from curb to curb. The total cost was approximately $12,000. On September 2, 1929, amidst perfect weather and a large crowd of interested spectators, Nels Lougheed, Minister of Public Works, cut the ribbon to a burst of cheering, officially declaring the reconditioned Main Street open for business. The local newspaper reported, and another leaf was turned in the history of the town of Mission's march towards progress and prosperity. Interestingly, it was the first street paved in the electoral area called Dewdney. An important addition to Main Street occurred in 1929 with the construction of the first municipal hall. Constructed by the District of Mission and the Village of Mission, the two local governments at the time, a special amendment to the Local Government Act was required to undertake the joint project. At the first regular meetings of the District Council and the Village Commissioners in the hall, staff presented them with a pipe of peace, expressing the hope that all their deliberations would be carried on in a spirit of friendliness and goodwill. Following the amalgamation of the two governments in 1969, the hall was used until the present-day one on Stave Lake Street was opened in 1974. In 1934, 2 years after being officially renamed Main Street, the thoroughfare was firmly entrenched as the commercial center in Mission. This view of the street, taken from the Legion Hill in 1934, shows a street lined with businesses, including 2 gas stations on the left within a short distance of each other, a hotel, and a drugstore. Flashing forward to the 1970s, Main Street was renamed yet again. Shortly after the amalgamation of the Corporation of the District of Mission and the Corporation of the Town of Mission City, the current name of First Avenue was adopted in 1970. Under its new name, First Avenue continued to serve as a gathering place for events and celebrations in Mission as in the past. Mission's Main Street has been central to its economic and cultural development. For more than 6 decades, the street has served as the principal commercial thoroughfare and the chief gathering place for marking local, provincial, national, and international events, parades, protests, and celebrations. Here are several notable mentions. On November 11, 1918, Washington Street was filled with jubilant citizens celebrating the end of the First World War. Although no images are known to exist of this momentous day in world history, a vivid account of the commemorative event in Mission was published in the local newspaper, the Fraser Valley Record. Businesses opened as usual at 8 a.m., however, only long enough for employees to gather up flags, cowbells, horns, or anything else with which to make noise. One and all responded to the call, and by 10:30 a.m., the time set for the parade by Reeve John A. Catherwood, Washington Street was lined with vehicles gaily decorated with flags and bunting, and equipped with noise-making devices. At 11 a.m., the largest and undoubtedly the most joyful parade ever held in Mission City started down Washington Street, with Reeve Catherwood at its head. In all, some 50 vehicles were in the parade, all being loaded to full capacity. According to the account, some of the younger element continued to march down the street, filling the night air with song and mirth. Main Street served as the original track for Mission's famous Soapbox Derby, which ran from 1946 to 1973. Founded and organized by Jimmy Gunn, the Derby was held on Main Street from 1946 until a permanent track was constructed on the grounds of the Leisure Center in 1953. 100 contestants representing 32 communities competed in the last race held on Main Street until it was revived for a period of time starting in 1999. On July 24, 1958, as part of BC's centennial celebrations, a memorable visit by Her Royal Highness Princess Margaret took place on the steps of the Mission City Post Office, which was decked out with Union Jacks and Canadian flags and witnessed by a large and happy crowd dressed up for the occasion. Held during a period of political and military tension in the world, an editorial in the local newspaper stated how Princess Margaret would be welcome to Mission City for all she stands for and for what she is herself, a touch of glamour and brightness in a period of international gravity. A recounting of Main Street's storied past would not be complete without the mention of parking meters. In an effort to control the daily snarling traffic jams by automobiles in the mid-1940s and customers double parking on First Avenue, the Board of Commissioners for the Village of Mission decided to install meters with finable restrictions despite the outcry of local citizens. The dispute surrounding the meters spanned 4 decades, as exemplified by this cleverly amusing image published in the local newspaper in 1967. With the caption, "Ed Fuller of Mad Squee took no chances of running afoul of the law," or Mission meterman Bob Hartley while on Main Street and inserted a coin in one of Mission's controversial parking meters. In December of 1976, after many delays and last-minute consultations to address the First Avenue-Railway Avenue couplet confusion and future roadway developments, a new $500,000 route through Mission's main business thoroughfare opened to traffic on December 17, 1976. First Avenue was reopened as a one-way street, and motorists traveling along the downtown streets in Mission were greeted with an assortment of new signs and directions leading them along the new routes, which made up First Avenue Railway Avenue couplet. The historic event also coincided with the removal of all parking meters from downtown Mission for a 1-year trial period, and were never reinstalled. A noteworthy project undertaken to modernize First Avenue occurred in 1982. On April 20th, plans for the first phase of improvements to the central downtown business area along First Avenue were unveiled. Costing $302,000, the 2-phase improvement project included underground wiring, new street and sidewalk lighting, trees, park-style benches, large garbage containers, and simulated brick additions to the sidewalks. A holiday tradition for more than 3 decades is the annual Candlelight Parade, which literally put Mission on the map. It was the first known nighttime parade in British Columbia, and today is credited with being one of the largest. In recent years, over 14,000 spectators from as far away as White Rock, Bellingham, and Hope have traveled to Mission to see it. Constant throughout its history, the parade ends with the arrival of the jolly man in the red suit. In 1987, there was a break in tradition when Santa came roaring in on a sleigh being pulled by a motorcycle decorated as a reindeer. During the early morning hours of February 8, 2010, thousands of people braving cold temperatures lined First Avenue and joined in the singing of "O Canada" as the Olympic flame was passed from one torch to another. Definitely a noteworthy day in the history of the community. First Avenue today continues to thrive through property and business owners actively pooling their efforts and funds to market, plan, and manage activities to improve the business area. The most recent example of this is the facelift completed on First Avenue in 2018 under the leadership of the Mission Downtown Association in partnership with the District of Mission. The historical street features unique shops, entertainment venues, and establishments offering a wide range of goods and services. As in the past, First Avenue continues to be the heart of downtown Mission.